right. Oh, I forgot to tell him.
Three homages. Call and response.
Buddham Saranam Gacchami.
Buddham Saranam Gacchami.
Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Sangam Saranam Gacchami.
Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Namanda.
Namanda, 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 Namanda. Well, we'll work on it.
We were just so excited to be able to do that this morning. We got a little ahead of ourselves, but that's okay. Yeah, we did it. Feels so good. Feels so good to hear all your voices. So, welcome to Reno Buddhist Center, and we're just so happy to have you here today, and many new faces. We welcome all of you. We will be chanting the Shoshinge next, which is our chant of true faith. And our founder, Shinran Shonin, up on the wall, founder's teacher's wall over there, wrote this over 800 years ago in Japan. And to chant the Shoshinge, you'll find it in the seat back pocket in front of you or sometimes behind you. And you chant it from the right to the left, going down in vertical columns. And for new people, you might just want to sit and listen and feel it, because it gets a little confusing. And for our regular practicers, you know what to do. So Shinran wrote this beautiful poem because he wanted us to know that we are part of a long, unbroken thread of life that extends deep, deep into the past. And we are responsible to carry that beautiful thread of that life of interconnection and peace and gratitude into the future. So please participate in this chant by chanting yourself, or by listening, or by humming along, whatever feels right to you. So as we are chanting the Shoshinge, we will be offering incense in gratitude to the infinite wisdom and compassion that supports us every day. And we do this just coming up mindfully and bowing to the altar and putting a pinch of incense on the very hot charcoal. Kids, don't touch the charcoal. I saw that happen last time, and the little guy went, "Ugh." So, yeah, it's hot. So we have 2 other altars here to just feel compassion. Kannon Bodhisattva, the Bodhisattva of compassion, she hears your cries and concerns. She also helps with the transition to the other shore. So you can light a candle over there and write a name of somebody who's passed on our deceased record, if you'd like. And we have our medicine Buddha altar over here. So if you need or a loved one needs a little bit of extra healing from physical, mental, spiritual issues, please offer incense at the medicine Buddha altar. And just take your time in doing this. If you've come together, you may offer incense together. We don't have to have a single file line. You can come up together. We have 2 charcoals there, and then you can like split off and do the other altars, or go take your seat. Whatever feels right to you, you are welcome to do that. So we offer all of this with deep gratitude. That is the main focus, is finding that gratitude. So thank you all for being here, and enjoy. Namondops. Namondops.
どこ行くの?
Yeah, we switch sides too. Habits.
Make it habit, make it happen. 昇進芸 奇妙無量寿如来南無不可思議光法蔵菩薩因に寺財政自在応部省刀剣勝負浄土院国土人伝自然幕建立無常主将願長法慶雨大偶勢五行四唯四小樹十世妙正文字法不法無量無変更無下無体公園の少女歓喜知栄光不断難知無償光超日が交渉人生一切群上無交渉本願用語少女語死心信行願に因上等学書大涅槃非死滅道願成就如来所以公衆性唯生弥陀本願会五辱悪事群上会方針如来両実言の法一年喜愛心不断本の特涅槃本性逆法再永入領主死入海一味聖主信仰上昇後意の水波無明暗東内心臓死運無上不信じ信心天非尿に幸福運無運無死下妙無暗逆心謙虚大狂気即応超税合悪種一切全幕本部人門心如来偶税願仏言広大小芸者税人妙分打理系弥陀部本元年部邪見教魔楽修上信行十字人に難中死難昔インド祭天地論芸中華自治一期思考層 現代書公正書位妙如来本税大き釈迦如来両合戦一種五明南天竺龍樹大寺主と聖質の財派無権先世大乗無情報召喚議事昭安楽賢治南行六六新行異行指導楽億年未打部本願次年即時入筆上唯の上昇如来語王法大悲偶税音天神菩薩増論世奇妙無下光如来永寿たら謙信寺高専王朝大聖願こういう本願力栄光移動群上小維新記入功徳大崩壊筆脈入大永寿宗特使蓮華造世界即昇進用法昇進有本の人間人図入賞自音自王下本自動乱両天使上皇乱小菩薩来三蔵ルシ十上教本書宣教気楽法天神菩薩論中下報道因果見世願大元栄光有他力少女死因唯心人惑前本部新人法承知承知即内藩意志無量光明道小有修上開復系同社継承道南省唯妙浄土活入万全自力変言宗円満特語感染症三風三神慶音言増魔法明道非因異生増悪地偶税思安了解称妙化全道独妙部所意公愛上三両逆枠公明明語慶二年介入本願大智慧行者小樹金剛心狂気一年総合用意大東逆三人即小法小四上楽謙信公開一大表延期安養官二祭先祖終身反先人法慶二道小弁流極十悪人唯勝部外薬剤非正集中煩悩証言水不見大悲無見上昇が本次元空妙仏教連民全幕本部人新宗教書後編集戦弱本願具悪性現代生じ臨伝下慶地義上位少子即入弱上無意楽一心地に納入空教大自主使徒上際無変極辱悪同族自主愚道心唯過心し放送せナムアミダ無阿弥 南無南無は阿弥陀仏な無阿弥陀仏南無弥陀ジョブのこの方は今に自己をへたまえりほしのこうりやぬきわもなくせのもみょうを照らすなり。Page 35. 南無阿弥陀仏な無阿弥陀仏南無は阿弥陀仏な阿弥陀仏南無は阿弥陀仏南無は阿弥陀仏南無は阿弥陀仏南無は阿弥陀仏南無下駄の降臨きはもなし幸福かむるものはみいなむを離ると述べたもおう平等確に奇妙せよ。Page 45. 願にし功徳平等聖祭同菩提心往生はらこ
would like to invite the children who would like to go to Dharma school, as well as any older humans who would like to go to Dharma school, to follow Reverend Shelley and our dear APC Aaron to the Haroma Hall.
Let's sing them out.
Let the Buddha walk with you. Let the Buddha walk with you. Let the Buddha walk, just walk. Let the Buddha walk with you. Let the Buddha walk with you. Let the Buddha walk with you. Let the Buddha walk, just walk. Let the Buddha walk with you. Let the Buddha walk with
Let the
you.
Buddha walk with you. Let the
think-
Buddha walk, just walk.
Reverend Shelley,
Let the
your
Buddha
mic's
walk
still
with
on.
you.
Your mic's still on. Okay, we cut her off.
Good morning, everyone. What a morning it's been already. As you can tell, Reverend Matthew and I would be lost without Reverend Shelley and Aaron. So, the reading today, Dharma Rain from the Lotus Sutra. It rains equally everywhere, falling alike in the four directions, pouring without measure, saturating all the land. In the mountains, streams, and steep valleys, in deep recesses grow grasses and herbs, and trees great and small. The sugar cane and the grapevine are all nourished by the rain, and none fail to be enriched. The herbs and trees together, the parched ground is soaked, and the herbs and trees together flourish. Issuing from that cloud, water of a single flavor moistens the grasses, trees, and forests. Each according to its measure, all of the trees, great, medium, and small, according to their size, can grow and develop. When reached by that single rain, the roots, stalks, branches, and leaves, flowers and fruits, with luster and color, all are fresh and shining. According to their substance, marks, and natures, either great or small, they alike receive moisture, and each one flourishes. The Buddha, in the same way, manifests within the world, just like a great cloud, covering over everything, having come into the world for the sake of sentient beings. He seeks and expounds the reality of all dharmas. The great sage, the world-honored one, proclaimed these words: I am the thus come one, the Tathagata, the doubly complete honored one. I appear within the world like a great cloud, spiritually moistening the dried-out living beings, so they all leave suffering behind and gain peace and bliss, worldly joy and the greater joy of suchness. To all those assembled here, listen single-mindedly, listen well. You have all come here to behold the unsurpassed one, the world-honored one, the one beyond compare, the Tathagata manifested in the world, to bring peace and ease to all beings for the sake of all beings. Speaking the sweet dew of pure Dharma, the rain of a single taste, the taste of liberation and freedom, nirvana. Using a single word, wondrous sound, I proclaim this principle, constantly creating the causes and conditions for the great Dharma vehicle.
Namana, namana, namana.
We will now have a moment of meditation accompanied by soft music.
I always take great care getting on this teaching platform because we only have one tablet in the temple, so if it goes over, no spares. And we had the beautiful rain last night, so the Dharma rain reading really resonated for me. I seem to have not set up my Dharma talk where I wanted to have it. This is really longer than I expected. No, just kidding. So, you may have noticed we're happy to see you all. We're happy to see you all here today. The beautiful April showers. I didn't think the April showers came in May, but apparently this year they do, so that's okay. Dharma rain is wonderful. If you're new to our temple, you're very welcome here. The life of our temple is busy, and Reverend Shelley and I do other things in the community. I did a house blessing. She did a blessing at Renown in the last couple of weeks. So we do counseling. People come in, and we sit and have tea, and we talk about the Dharma, about their life, whatever comes up. So, we work to make this place welcoming and a sustainable home for Buddhism. And the Sangha community, all of you, make that possible. It's a peaceful place, a gentle place, a place where trouble and strife seldom enters. It's a place where we take time to be with each other, and where we are all able to grow and share in the Dharma. So thank you all. The title of my talk today is Chop Wood and Carry Water. As I prepared and studied for this Dharma talk, there was an interesting effect. I would do some writing or read part of a sutra or something, and then that leads you to another one, and that leads you to another one. And then I would read the words, chop wood, carry water, and I would think, oh, I need to get that done. And I would think of some chore that needed doing, and then I would go do that. And then I need to get my writing done. So I'd come back, and I'd sit down, and then I'd read the words, chop wood, carry water, and you know where this goes, right? I'm not sure the Dharma talk is really done, but I got lots of stuff done in the last 2 weeks, which is really great. So, probably good. So, here's what I have in its loose form. Buddhism is often called a religion of enlightenment. Some people say a way of enlightenment. That might be better for you. The great natural way, the way of suchness. You heard suchness mentioned in the sutra reading. It's an important idea. So how to explain or illuminate that idea? Has anyone ever heard that word before? Almost no one. That's okay. You've heard the word Tathagata before. That's the Buddha, just another name for the Buddha. But it means he who comes from suchness or goes to. It means both ways. So suchness is Tatthagata in Pali. I don't think this is helping. Okay, so the Buddha taught that we're not seeing reality around us in an accurate and honest way. That was an important part of his teaching. And we kind of see through the distorted lens of the self. Our self tends to be very centered on only its interests and its nature, and it has a nature of clinging to things. So this is the source of our sorrows and difficulties, this clinging of the self to a dynamic universe. An analogy would be like if we grabbed onto things that are moving, trouble follows. If you've ever tried that, I have. It's moving, you're not, and your grip is usually the thing that breaks. So it's not, it just doesn't work. Suchness then, in that analogy, is the motion of the car. The true character of reality, which is dynamic, energetic, and vibrant. My self-delusion sees the car as though it is static, because the self itself is static, pretty static, and so it just kind of imposes that on the universe around. We could say that the actual reality of the car is conditioned by ourself. And so we have this distorted picture, and we think we can just sort of grab onto it. And the truth at the end part of this story, I'm sure you're all dying to hear, is I fell off the car and I twisted my ankle. So, has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but that is what happened when I tried that. So that's what a conditioned view is. So suchness is the unconditioned, or the non-dual. So we see things in this chopped up way and make them really more complicated than they are. We conjure up subject and object, and out of what in reality is just suchness. We condition this reality with an extra dimension that doesn't really exist. In this way, we're dimensionally challenged. So, even the Buddha had difficulty explaining the unconditioned reality to conditioned beings. So, language and vocabulary are not suited to doing that. Both suchness and our selfish delusion exist in the same space and time. They're not separate. They are interpenetrating realities. Suchness is the true mode of being that underlies everything. It is non-duality. Sometimes we use that word for it. So, is this working? It's so interesting to see people's faces. It's very useful, very helpful, because sometimes the last year it was hard to tell what was happening. So, suchness. Since we believe our selfish perceptions are reality, and we're like really sure that we're always right? Then our world, for our world to be real, it has to be perceived as something or separate things all kind of clumped together. It can't just be. So that's a problem. So we have to judge it, or we name it, or we describe it in some way. Think about describe, it's as though we cut it out of reality. If I describe these flowers, I cut them out of reality. They're actually part of everything, but I'm going to say, well, they're green and they have petals and stamens and all this kind of stuff. And now I've taken them out of everything that you view. So the self thinks we perceive the world through words, through ideas. But, in fact, that is just sort of the chattering of our monkey mind. And it drowns out the the harmony, and the oneness with particularity of reality that lies beneath. Have you noticed everybody taking pictures of things lately? It happens, and someone estimated that 1.2 trillion photos have been taken worldwide in a year, in last year, let's say, by people. That just doesn't seem possible because there's 7.5 billion people. That would be 160 pictures each. Now, some of you I know have gone over that. But some people on another continent probably didn't take that many. So it all evens out. But think about what's up with that. Somehow, if I take a picture of me with the laundry, does it make the laundry real or does it make me real? I don't know. The obsession with posting pictures is just the self wanting to cut things out of time and capture them in data, in the cloud, sort of petrified for all time. Me, laundry. Have you ever looked back at any of those pictures? Almost never. I mean, there's just billions of pictures that pile up. We try to fix it, or not fix as in repair, fix as in hold it. Hold that car, the moving car. It doesn't work. And it goes counter to the fact that everything is changing and moving and dynamic. But suchness exists right now, before we name it or describe it or form an opinion about it. The universe doesn't really care what your opinion is of it. I have a little springtime problem is allergies, so I take some peppermint to... Okay. If we suspend the monkey chatter, and there will be a moment of suchness for us, a moment of as-it-isness, if that helps, or maybe not, if we just experience. Where can we see suchness? Can we go someplace to see it? Well, the easy answer is everywhere, every day, all the time. It's there. When life is simple, it's much easier to experience suchness, a preconceptual oneness with reality. It lives in everyday moments, tiny moments, like your breath, or like a drop of dew hanging from the blade of grass, or those little teeny fingernails on a baby. Have you ever looked at those? It's amazing. You just want to look at it. My sister-in-law would just say, "You just want to eat them." And it's like, what? But you know what I mean. The little tiny, beautiful things exist all around us, and we don't see them because they don't fit into our described, separated, organized, So, we can see all those things when we just go back to chopping wood and carrying water, all the things we have to do. Too often we approach life and we're looking for the next big thing, right? Life's happening around here and we're sort of looking off in the distance. So, next year I'm going to go to Europe. It's going to be really great. And then we sit down with your friends. Instead of connecting with them and having true eye contact and all those things, you start talking about what you're going to do next year when you go to Europe, and it's going to be really great. That's a problem. Really, what we're seeking, even with the big home run feeling, is joy and happiness. And that joy and happiness are right here, not a year from now. A year from now is neither joyful nor happy. It's an imaginary thing. Right here is truly accessible. And this is where we experience joy, is right here. So, if we just go back to chopping wood and carrying water and doing the things that are our daily life, we can find joy. So, suchness is reality as it is-ness. It's the love that is present in the world around us. It's always here, infinite and available. It's in our lives all the time, but we seldom realize it. We long for it, a drenching Dharma rain, immersed in the reality of love everywhere. We are not alone or separated in darkness when we take refuge in infinite compassion. Most of the time, we avoid this truth. It's amazing, but the self will actually suppress our experience of suchness. So if you had some wonderful feeling of looking at it, you can look at a dandelion flower, which is technically a weed, but if you really look at it, it's amazing. And then you look closer, and there's little tiny bugs running all over the road. It's like a whole city in this one dandelion flower. It's amazing. And what does how does the self, respond to that? That's not amazing. It's just a dandelion, or some other experience, that wasn't really real. Think about these little things. Think about the trivial things. So the self will block, and it comes up. So we need to let that go. I understand the self is going to do that, and we can't make it go away, but we can not put attention toward it. But sometimes we'll have that spark of understanding inside us. Our Buddha nature will glimmer. And when kindled, that spark is bodhicitta, the aspiration to reach enlightenment for the sake of all beings. Suchness was what the Buddha realized in his enlightenment, basking in the Dharma rain under the Bodhi tree 2,600 years ago. The Bodhi tree has sprouted many beautiful leaves this spring, so it's doing awfully well. That's a Bodhi tree, not the Bodhi tree, but it's our little piece, so we like to think of it that way. We can experience that same suchness that the Buddha experienced every day when we see the sacred quality of our daily routine each morning, when we mindfully brew and pour and sip from that cup. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, just being. It can be beautiful, even for just a little piece of time, and then you got to get back to work. So the phrase, chop wood, carry water, it comes from a Chinese Buddhist who is called Layman Pang. In about 760 of the Common Era, he wrote a poem, and then that has gently been expanded into a wonderful story. So, the story goes like this. A young boy wanted to become a monk. He dreamed of enlightenment and learning great things. When he got to the monastery, he was told that each morning he had to chop wood for the cooks' fires and carry water up to the monastery for washing in kitchen. Some days he attended chanting and meditation. If his chores were done, he was tutored in the sutras of the Buddha. But the teaching that was given was sparse and occasional. Days between lessons, depending on the circumstances. One day, he was told to take tea to the abbot in his cell. He did, and the abbot saw that the boy looked sad. And he asked him, "Why?" The boy replied, "Every day, all I do is chop wood and carry water. I want to learn. I want to understand great things. I want to be a great teacher like you one day." The abbot gestured to the stacks of sutra scrolls on the shelves lining his cell, and he said, "When I started, I was like you. Every day I would chop wood and carry water. And like you, I understood that someone had to do these things. And like you, I wanted to move forward. My teacher gave me more chores as I grew. And then others chopped the wood and carried the water. And eventually I read all these sutras. I met with kings and gave counsel. I became the abbot of this monastery. Now I understand. The key to living is that everything is chopping wood and carrying water. And that if we do everything with mindfulness, then it's all the same. All supernatural, marvelous, vibrant activity. Being. So, the abbot realized the great truth of Layman Pang. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. We are all that boy. We want so much. We are impatient. Instead of experiencing the marvelous supernatural power of chopping wood, carrying water, we fall back on bad habits. The 5 bad habits of self is how the Buddha described these in the sutra. They keep us bound and blinded, and have for a long time. They're kind of upside-down views of the way reality is. That's why the Lotus Sutra described us living beings as dried-out beings abiding in suffering without peace and bliss. The many troubles in our lives exist because we do not flow in harmony with suchness that surrounds us. The Buddha warned us against these 5. Competition, to believe that I must win and you must lose for me to be happy is a grave delusion. Deception, we tend to deceive others and ourselves, and we compromise and rationalize to avoid loss or acquire gain. Dependency, we look to others to provide our livelihood and basic needs. We look to others to tell us how to think and feel and be. Egoism, this is the 4th one. Thinking and acting as though only my way is right results in unfortunate karmic fruits. And laziness. We think that we can succeed without exerting our effort in life. So if we pause and reflect, have we fallen into these habits every once in a while? Yeah, probably so. I can think of a couple times, and then once I start to turn on to those, I think, oh, I was doing that too. Ooh. So the Buddha brings awareness to these troublesome habits so that we can let them go. These are all kind of unnatural, calculating acts. Our small self believes we need to do these things to survive, but like a monkey caught in a trap, I don't know if you've ever seen one of those monkey traps where the monkey can put his hand in and out of the coconut, but if he grabs onto the fruit, his fist holds him there, and it's amazing. You can grab the monkey and it's screaming and it won't let go because it wants the piece of fruit too. We're like that. We want stuff all the time, and it traps us. To be freed, we have to let go. They blind us to the love and compassion that is here, everywhere, for us. Because of them, we can't see that we're okay, just as we are. Goofy or not, it's okay. We make mistakes. That's okay. When we return to chopping wood and carrying water, the 5 bad habits can kind of melt away. Because then we're just doing our chores. We don't even have to really be there. In our Shin Buddhist tradition, we have the example of a Myokonin. These are wonderful, sincere people. Their lives are lived without these habits. They certainly knew the secret of just putting your head down, chopping wood, and carrying water. They show us how to live life in a peaceful way, in a Buddhist way, by following the natural flow, by listening deeply to the universe around us, by accepting the predominant effects of other power, and by living in a state of true and trusting. They live without calculation or pretense. They cultivate the habit of profound trust and confidence. One of these Myokonin, his name was Saichi. He lived in the 1800s. He was a geta maker. Will has those wooden sandals, and that's what Saichi made. So he'd get logs of wood. likely he would chop the wood into smaller pieces and saw it and everything. So, a wonderful person for whom living in suchness was accessible and available every day as he did his work, making those shoes. He would work, and all the time he would kind of chant Namu Amida Butsu to himself, as he's, if you can see, it's invisible, but there's a chisel in my hand or a plane or something, and I'm holding the wood and I'm making it. Okay. When a poem would come to him about Amida Buddha, he would stop and pick up. Maybe he would keep working, and then at the end of the day, he would pick up a piece of the curled, whatever you call it, wood shavings, and he would write the poem on the wood shavings. So there's thousands of these poems by Saichi. So I will read a couple. So, no clinging to anything, no clinging to small self, no clinging to the teaching. This is in accord with the Dhamma. Namu Amida Butsu. And writing about suchness, he wrote this on a, I want to say shard, but I really should say shaving of wood. My eyes change, the world changes. This place turns into the Pure Land. How happy I am. Namu Amida Butsu. He wrote about suchness as well. How happy I am. I cannot see Namu Amida Butsu with my eyes because it is too vast a gift to see with eyes. To see suchness, I have to be embraced in suchness. The Myokonin life is a life of naturalness, and it answers the deep question, who am I? With this, I am nothing but this moment in the flow of life. I am nothing but this moment in the flow of life. This flow is not in our control. It is the flow of the universe itself. The life of the universe flows in me, and I just flow with life, and that is myself. We do make plans. We have to. And we do make good efforts. But in the end, what happens is not our own doing. It is life's doing. We do worry a lot. Somehow, the Myokonin don't. We worry about politics, and we worry about our food, and we worry about how others see us, and we worry about if others know what we think about them. If we spent half the worrying time on appreciating and being grateful for all the blessings in our lives, we would be much happier and more of service to others. So just chop wood and carry water and be with it. Don't worry. In those small moments, we can let true life flow as it will and be free. That is the Myokonin's life that they share with us. Simply trust, cherry blossom in bloom. It's a haiku from Isa, one of the Myokonin. So simply trusting is a key to experiencing suchness. We can chop our wood and carry our water and then feel that fabric of being around us. We can simply trust and let go our calculating mind if we're chopping carrots to make the soup. And we can let go those 5 bad habits. The Dharma rain is there. It's coming down on us. It comes from the Nembutsu. We can let love rain down on us, just as Saichi did. If we take refuge in the Buddha, our simple trust is important. It is profound. We can trust that we're okay, just as we are, and that the great vow is for us. One insightful definition of happiness is to be in the flow, where we lose ourselves in suchness. And this happens to artists, it happens with athletes, it happens with moms washing babies, there's a point where you and me melts away. And life is just happening. And we glimpse suchness in those times where we just chop wood and carry the water. In the flow of the task at hand, our chopping and carrying is simply trusting, with deep confidence in the wisdom and compassion of the universe that wishes us well. In those small moments, reality calls out to us and says these words. Please repeat after me. May you be happy. May you be free from harm. May you receive boundless compassion. And may peace and harmony fill your heart. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you so much. We usually finish our service by singing our Reno Buddhist Center theme song. It is on page 49 of the service book. I will ask Masako to play it. I guess we could stand and gently sing this song together. I cannot because my legs are asleep. Masako? Away, away, come away with me, where the grass grows wild and the winds blow free. Away, away, come away with me, and I'll build you a home in the meadow. Come, come, there's a wondrous land for the hopeful heart and the willing hand. Come, come, there's a wondrous land where I'll build you a home in the meadow. The stars, oh how bright and far, on a world of pure and eternal love. The stars, oh how bright they'll shine, on the home we will build in the meadow. Come, come, there's a wondrous land for the hopeful heart and the willing hand. Come, come, there's a wondrous land where I'll build you a home in the meadow. Thank you. There's just a few announcements, so if you could be seated. The most important announcement of all is if you're new, we will have a newcomers circle right here in this room, and we'll circle some chairs, and George Killeran, who's the birthday boy, almost, it was yesterday, right? 29 years old, exactly. Will be there. So if you have questions, if you're new or not new, it's fine. We just come together and we can talk. I will attend that as well. We also have tea and treats in honor of George's birthday. We have a bunch of cupcakes, so please come downstairs to Haroma Hall and share cupcakes with us. And there's also tea down there. I said that. People get to Haroma Hall either by going through this door and winding down the stairs, or some people are clever and they go out and around and in the first floor door on Taylor Street. Either way, you can get to the cupcakes. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So there are other announcements in the order of service. Please look at those. We have weekly activities, and we're chanting on Tuesday. People can come and chant, so that's wonderful. Thank you all so much. Namandam, namandam, namandam.